That means we have a number of processors, okay, number of processors communicating parallelly. So in this their CPU process time is also increases. Next is type of multiprocess system. One is tightly coupled processor, second is loosely coupled processor. Tightly coupled processors are processors share memory and a clock. Okay, tightly coupled sharing a single memory and also sharing a clock. Communications usually take place through the shared memory. Each processor runs an identical copy of the operating system. Most modern operating systems supports SMP. Okay, SMP means symmetric multiprocessing. Okay, so in tightly coupled systems we are using single shared memory and clock. Like in this way we have number of processes 1, 2, 3, 4 and a number of n processes, and these n processes uses and share a single memory and single clock. Second is loosely coupled systems or asymmetric multiprogramming. Each processor has its own local memory. Previously we have discussed a number of processes are sharing single memory, but in case of loosely coupled, each CPU or each processor has its own local memory for communication with each other through various communication lines such as high speed bus or telephone lines. If they want to communicate or accessing their data each other, then they have to use speed bus or telephone lines, hubs, switches for transferring and sharing their data, or mostly they are done in distributed system or in case of networking. Each processor is assigned a specific task. Master processor schedules and allocated work to slave processor. Okay, in this we have one master processor and other is slave processes, and slave processes execute according to their master processor instructions. Advantages of parallel system: increased throughput, because we have number of processes and their own memories, so they allocated different a single task into different modules and they execute independently. Okay, in this way our performance is obviously increased. Economical, increased reliability. Reliability means if one system is going to fail, that means another system is still working, still another module is going to execute without any harm of effect of second computer which is going to fail. Okay, if one system is failed, that doesn't mean another system will stop working. Another system will going to execute as it is their input and output. Next is distributed system. Distribute the communication among several physical processes. Require networking infrastructure. Basically, distributed system means networking. Local area network, wide area network may be either client server or peer-to-peer systems. Distributed system can be according to their need. It can be a single client server or peer-to-peer network. According to our need or according to our topology, we can set up our distributed systems. Advantages of distributed system: sharing of resources, increasing the computation speed up, reliability, communication. Now, client server computer means we have a number of clients and single server, and client make a request to the server and server serves their request according to their need. Client server architecture can be considered as a network environment that exchange information between a server machine and a client machine, where server has some resources that can be shared by different clients. In client server architecture, individual computer are connected to a central computer which is known as a server. Okay, means one act as a main power of the network and another serve as a slave or client of the network. Like in this way, one main computer act as a server that gives an instruction to a number of client systems, and that servers also handle the database. If one of the computer is going to fail, but database is still in use and anybody can use that database, because that database is handled by a server. If a server is going to fail, then you can say data is going to be lost. So next is peer-to-peer networking. Each workstation has equivalent capability and responsibility. That means each has its own database. That means there is no server, there is no client, there is no slave or master. Each has its own slave and own master, has their own responsibilities and capability, but they are sharing their data each other through hub. Clustering system. Clustering allows two or more systems to share storage, provides high reliability. Asymmetric clustering means one server runs an application while another server standby. Okay, only one application is going to run, but another is going to waiting for their first completed their application. Fourth is symmetric clustering. All n hosts are running the application. Real-time systems. Real-time operating systems are used under strict timeline or deadline boundaries. Okay, so real-time systems always deal with a time constraint. We have to mention a specific time. So we have now there is two type of real-time system. One is hard, another is soft. So they both are working on a time constraint. Often used as a control device in a dedicated application, such as controlling scientific experiments medically. Well-defined fixed time constraints. Okay, where we require to specify a task, a specific time, and that specific task perform within this particular time. So that system is known as a real time systems. That means that system work according to their time. There is two type of time real time systems. One is hard. Now what is hard real time system? A hard real time system is a system that guarantees the completion of a particular task within a certain time limit. That means if we decided that particular task that completed within 5 minutes, that means 5 minutes means 5 minutes, not a 5.1 second only, not. That means 5 minutes, that 5 minute will give a result. For example, controlling scientific experiments, medical imaging system, industrial control systems. Second is a soft real-time system. A soft real-time system is a system that cannot fully guarantee the completion of a particular job within certain time limit. That means we only wait for their execution. We don't know the time, how much a particular job takes the time, but we decided job will finish until their execution. So these are not bound of time, but completion is required. These systems are based on priority, like mobile phones, digital cameras. Now what is buffering? A temporary storage area to read data from input devices or sending data to the output devices. Buffers are a temporary storage device. Whenever we getting some input from the net and sending the data or uploading the data to the website, then we require some temporary storage. Or while we are you all of know, while we are installing a operating system or any software, okay, so there are some files, they require some temporary space, or while execution is completed they are showing a dialog box showing removing backup files. So that backup files require a temporary storage. Okay, so that temporary storage stored in buffers, temporary registers. Okay, while they are performing or completing their all task, then they removing from that buffers or registers. Keep CPU busy because input output operation is slow. Reading and writing data from hard disk takes long time, so to improve the speed for the data processor, and the data next required by the processor is stored is cache memory or CPU registers. Same thing I have already discussed. That means while we are transferring a data, sometime we require some small number of space. For speed of the memory, we just transfer that small data, small bit of data into a buffers or registers, so that our CPU performance going to increase. For example, to cut certain lines from text file to copy into another files, cut data get into a buffer CPU to get back stored into another file. Okay, so, sometime we are copying some data and transfer that data into another file. So in this time duration, that particular cut data is going to store in a buffer until that data paste into another file. Okay, another example is like we are giving a printer command. So printing command for printer, so that printing command or printing page stored into the printer buffer and store until it complete their printing process. Okay, after getting print out of that particular file, that buffer clear their command. Okay. So next is spooling is a process of sending data to a spool or temporary storage area in a computer memory. This data may contain files and processes. So spooling is a means sending of a data to a spool. Spool means a queue where we are sending one by one number of jobs. This makes a spooling. So this all about the operating system and their functions. I repeat once again its functions: interfacing between user and data, okay, compatibility, reliability, improve to evolve, okay, and we are discussing types of operating system: single operating system, multi-user operating system, single user operating system where a single user operates the system, multi-user where more than one user operate the operating system, multiprocessor, multi-programming, multitasking, okay, time sharing operating system, and most important is real time operating system. Okay, so today we have discussed overview of operating system and their functions. Thank you.